Hello students, welcome back to your science class. So students, in the previous class we were talking in the chapter that is natural resources. You see, we had discussed that how soil is formed and that will include there are some of the physical changes which occur and this will include the process and the factors are there which help in the making of the soil. So the factors which are responsible for the formation of the soil, they are sun, water, as well as that of the wind. Wind is the factor which help in making soil. We have understood that how sun is useful for making that of the soil. Sun help in expanding and contracting that of the rocks, and due to which there is a formation of a cracks occur in that of the rocks. Then water is there. Water, it help in the formation of the soil. How? In two ways. First one, that the water flows in between to that of the cracks which was formed earlier, and due to which it will help in increasing the gap between the two parts, or it will help in increasing the cracks, widen the cracks. And the second one, that the water used to bring the rock particles to a longer distance along with it, and due to which it will broken down and get converted into small pieces. Similarly, in case of a wind also the same thing, students, that is the wind used to carry uh, the rocks to a certain distance, and due to which it get broken down into the small pieces. Okay, so this is how we can understand that water or wind or sun help in the formation of the soil. Now the next one is, as you have seen that soil is what? It is a mixture. It contains small particle of rocks. It also contains bit of decayed living organism which is called humus. In addition, soil also contains various form of microscopic life. The type of soil is decided by the average size of the particle found in it. So soil is for student, it is a mixture of what? The small rock particles are there which is of a different size and which is formed by that of the weathering process. It also consisting of the decayed living organism, and that we called as a humus. Okay, and in addition to that, soil also consisting of various microscopic life. Yes, see students, in soil is what? It is also a shelter of a lot of a living organism. You know that there are a lot of a microscopic living organism. They used to, or even the tiny living organism, they used to live in this soil. Now if you know that why soil is important, so soil is important because it help in giving nourishment to the plant. So what kind of a nourishment? So it is that humus which is important, which is present in the soil, that is necessary, and making that actually presence of the humus is what, that we can say that it is what, it makes a soil fertile. A soil which consisting of a humus in it, it will be what? It will be fertile soil. So we can say that what is the type of the soil? The type of the soil, as you can see here, that the type of the soil is decided by the average size of the particle found in it, and the quality of soil is decided by the amount of humus and the microscopic organism found in it. Soil is what, student? It is mixture of the small particles, small particles of the rocks which is of a different size, and as well as it consisting of a humus, it consisting of a microscopic organism in it. So basically, when we categorize the different types of the soil, we have categorizes it that the first one is the average size of the particle, and the second one, what is the quality of the soil. So the quality of the soil, it depend upon the humus, it also depend upon the microscopic organism present in it, because the humus and that of the microscopic organism, both of them help in enhancing, help in increasing the quality of the soil. With the presence of both of them, we can say that soil is what? It is more fertile soil. Now what is humus? Basically, humus is what? It is really important. Humus is what? It is major factor in deciding soil structure, because it causes the soil to become more porous and allow water and air to penetrate deep underground. The mineral nutrients that are found in particular soil depend on the rocks it was formed from, the nutrient content of soil, amount of humus present in it, and depth of soil. They are what? Some of the factors that decide which plants will thrive on that soil. So we have understood that what is the quality of the soil. We have understood that what is the kind of a soil it is. Means what kind of a soil it is. What is the size of the soil. So basically, when we talk about the humus, humus is what? That is really important, because humus is what? It it basically it causes the soil. It tells that how much amount of a water or air is present in the soil. More porous will be the soil, more humus it will be. Okay, so humus generally tells, or it causes the soil to become more porous. You see, if more porous is there, it means water, it is having a more amount of a water in it, and that is also important for the microscopic organism they are living, and even for the aeration. You know that the plant, they used to respire through their roots also. So for that, the soil must be porous. So the porous should be there, so that it allow the water, it allow the air to penetrate deep underground. Now the mineral nutrients which is found, you know that uh, uh, the rocks which is turned into the soil, basically these rocks, they used to trap the nutrient in it, they trap the minerals in it. So when these rocks, they break down and the formation of the soil occur, it depends the how much amount of the minerals were already trapped or were present in that of the rock through which the soil is formed. Okay, so the mineral nutrient, it depend upon the rock it was formed from. Now see here, the nutrient content of the soil, amount of humus present in it, and depth of the soil, these all are the factor which tells that what kind of a plant will be able to grow on that soil. Now here, the topmost layer of the soil that contain humus and living organism in addition to the soil particle is called topsoil. And the quality of the topsoil is an important factor that decide the biodiversity in that area. Yes, see the top layer of the soil, you can say the top layer of the soil, and you know that at the top layer only the humus is present, and the living organism living inside to that of the soil. So the top layer of the soil where the humus content is more, or where the living organism, amount of living organism or microscopic living organism are more, that layer of the soil is called as the topsoil. And the quality of the topsoil, when I said quality, it means the amount of a humus and amount of a living organism in it. That quality, it is important factor which decides the biodiversity in that particular area. Okay, so quality of the topsoil is an important factor. So topmost layer of the soil means what, student? The layer which contain humus, the layer which contain the which contain the microscopic organism. Now you see here, modern farming practices, it involves the use of large amount of fertilizers and pesticides. And the use of these substances over a long period of time can destroy the soil structure by killing the soil microorganism that recycle the nutrient of the soil. It also kills the earthworm, which are instrumental in making rich humus. Fertile soil can quickly be turned barren if sustainable particles are not followed. See, what is most important thing is the humus, is the presence of the minerals as well as microscopic organism in it. When I said microscopic, it will also include the tiny living organism in it, like earthworm. So these days, to make agriculture free from any kind of a pest attack or insect attack, farmers, they use fertilizers, they use pesticides. But the problem is that when we start using these chemicals for a longer period of a time, this will start showing the impact to the quality of the soil. So these actually, when the fertilizers or the pesticides is used, this will mix along with the water, it will enter into the soil, it mixes with the soil, and due to which it kills the soil microorganism that is useful for the farming process. Also, it will kill the earthworm, which is really very important for making the soil humus. And ultimately, because of that, the fertile soil, it will turn into a barren land. So that's why it is also said that do not use the fertilizers and pesticides for a longer period of a time, because it will causes the soil pollution. How soil pollution? It will degrade the quality of the soil. So these are some of the unwanted or unwanted substances are there, which will lowers down the quality of the soil. And that is why it is said that the use of these substances for a long period of a time going to harm the soil. Okay. So how it will harm the soil? By killing the organisms present in it, which are responsible for making the soil more humus. Now the removal of the component from the soil and addition of other substance which adversely affect the fertility of the soil and kill the diversity of the organism that live in is called soil pollution. Removal of useful component and addition of other substances which adversely affect the fertility of the soil and kill the diversity of the organism that live in it. This is called as soil pollution. So obviously, if we are using the fertilizers or pesticides, we are killing the organism who are responsible for increasing the humus in the soil, and we are increasing the thing which actually degrading the quality of the soil, like pesticides or fertilizers. So that's why it is said that removal of useful component and addition of substance which adversely affect the fertility of the soil, these both of them will going to kill the diversity of the organism in it, and ultimately this will degrade the quality of the soil, and we called it as a soil pollution. Okay. The soil, actually, that the soil that we see today, it has been created over a long period of a time. However, some of the factors that created the soil in the first place and brought the soil to that place may be responsible for the removal of the soil too. The fine particles of soil may be carried away by blowing water or wind. If all the soil get washed away and rocks beneath are exposed, we have lost valuable resources because very little grow on the rocks. See, the soil that we used to see today, students, it is not a single day process, but actually this has taken a lot of a time for their creation. And there are some of the factors are there on which the soil depend on. So see how the creation, how the soil is created. So soil is created through water, soil is created through wind. So the rocks used to blow with the wind, and it is carried away for a sorry, for a longer distance. Similarly, in case of water also, that the rocks are carried along with the water for a longer distance, and due to which it get broken down into smaller pieces, right? So this is a factor by which the soil is formed, and these are the factors, these can be the factors which are responsible for the removal of the soil from one place to another place. Maybe if the soil is exposed to that of the water, so a heavy flow of water will carry away the soil from its place, or uh, a, a strong wind can blow and can take away the soil which is exposed to the which is exposed. So the removal of the soil, the formation of the soil by the factors can be the factors for the removal of the soil too. So see, that's why it is written here that some of the factors that created the soil in first place and brought the soil to that place may be responsible for the removal of the soil too. The fine particles of the soil may be carried away by flowing water or wind, and if all the soil get washed away and the rocks underneath are exposed, we have lost a valuable resource because very little will grow on the rocks. Okay, so if all the soil it will washed away, if all the soil it will blown away along with wind, and what happen if the upper surface, if the topmost layer is removed, the underneath rocks are present there, and very little amount of fertility will be there, very little amount of resources will be present at the underneath rock, because they do not consisting of much amount of humus or that of the minerals or the resources in it. It is the topmost soil which consisting of the humus, which consisting of a mineral in it. So we can say it is mineral rich soil. Okay. Now moving on and see here. Roots. Roots of a plant have an important role in preventing soil erosion and the large scale deforestation that is happening all over the world. Not only destroy biodiversity, it also led to soil erosion. Topsoil that is bare of vegetation is likely to be removed very quickly, and this is accelerated in hilly or mountainous region. This process of soil erosion is very difficult to reverse. Vegetative cover on the ground has a role in percolation of water into deeper layers too. So root of the plant have an important role in preventing soil erosion. Yes, how? How soil erosion occur? What is soil erosion? Removal of the topsoil, top layer of the soil. That is called as soil erosion. And these days, how the roots of the plant help in preventing the soil erosion. So basically the root of the plant used to hold it with the help of the root hair. Okay, so see, the roots of the hair is what they are, the roots of the plant are what? They are very important for preventing the soil erosion, as the hair of the root, the roots, the hair of the root, they used to hold the soil at a place. And what is soil erosion? Soil erosion is the removal of the upper layer of the soil. When we say topmost layer or the top layer or the upper layer of the soil, we are talking about the mineral rich part of the soil. So they get removed from the topmost layer, and that consisting of the humus, and due to which it will causes the soil erosion. So roots of the plant, it used to hold that of the soil and it help in preventing the soil erosion. But the problem is the large scale deforestation that is happening all over the world. It not only destroying the biodiversity but also led to the soil erosion. Topsoil that is bare of the vegetation is likely to be removed very quickly. So basically what happened, the roots help in holding that of the topsoil which consisting of the humus, but because of deforestation, a large scale deforestation which is happening, that is affecting the biodiversity a lot. Because how it will affecting the biodiversity, because uh, it will removing the habitat of many animals, as well as yes, removal of the plant will going to affect our environment a lot. And not only this, but the more will be the plant will be there, more rainfall will occur, and most important that it will prevent the soil erosion. So the large scale deforestation will also cause the soil erosion. Topsoil is water that is bare of vegetation is likely to be removed very quickly. So when the topsoil it is exposed, when there is no vegetation, so it will be quite easy of the removal of the soil. If more plants will be there, then it will be holded along with the hair of the roots. But since it is now bare, it is now open, it is now exposed. So because no plants are there, so ultimately they can be removed easily. And suppose if it is at a hilly area or mountainous region, then what happened, the process will be very fast, and this process of soil erosion is very difficult to reverse also. Yes, it's like a slope, student. So from up to down it can come, but from down to up it cannot be, and due to which we can say a huge loss of topsoil can be seen. The vegetative cover on the ground has a role to play in percolation of water into the deeper layer too. See, the plants which is present, the vegetative layer which is present there, it is not only responsible for holding but also help in percolation of the water and increases the level of the underground water. Okay, so this is about the soil, students. So we have understood what is soil, how soil is formed, what is soil erosion, what are the factors which causes the soil erosion, also how we can prevent the soil erosion also. Now let us see the very important cycles, that is biogeochemical cycle. See, let us try to understand the term biogeochemical cycle. When we said bio means abiotic. Bio means life, student. Bio means life. Life means living. Life means living. Living. Geo means earth. Chemical, you know that, and cycle. Life, earth, and chemical and its cycle, that is called as biogeochemical cycle. Life means living organism, and living organism are what, student? These are biotic component. Geo means earth. When we talk about earth, it consisting of rocks, soil, water, wind, these wind or air, these all are what? These all are some of the factors or some of the things which we include that of the earth. So here we have understood biotic and abiotic factors. Okay, biotic and abiotic. So we can say here that a constant interaction between the biotic and abiotic component of the biosphere make it is a dynamic but a stable system, and these interaction consist of transfer of matter and energy between the different component of the biosphere. So biogeochemical cycle is nothing the interaction between the biotic and the abiotic component, their transfer of matter, transfer of energy of the different component, and this cycle keeps on repeating. That's why it is called as a biogeochemical cycle.